All right, number 7, we got an accepted relationship between stopping distance d and the speed of a car v, and that's in miles per hour. Equation is given, and we want to know how many feet will it take a car traveling 50 miles per hour to stop on dry level concrete. And so that's what this is for, dry level concrete. So we will use this expression. The car is going 50 miles per hour. Miles per hour is V. So we're going to plug in 50 for V. So the first part, we have this equation dV, distance, and the speed equals 1.1 V plus 0.05 V squared. And what we're going to do, we're going to find D of 50. Plug in 50 miles per hour. So that gives us 1.1 times 50 plus 0.05 times 50 squared. And we'll just compute this. And so 1.1 times 50 plus 0.05 times 50. Let me go back. I got too many. 0.05. Delete one of those. Times 50 squared. And it gives us 180. So it's going to take about 180 feet if you were going 50 miles per hour, according to this equation. It would take you 180 feet to stop this car. Okay. Part B says if an accident occurs 250 feet ahead, what is the maximum speed that you can travel to avoid being involved in the accident? So same scenario, now we have an accident 250 feet ahead of us. So instead of plugging in the 250 to V, because that's not miles per hour, we're going to be plugging the 250 in for D, that's the distance, so the whole part right here. So now, part 2, we're going to be plugging in 250 for this whole part. So 250 equals 1.1 V plus 0.05 V squared. This is similar to a quadratic equation, so we're going to set it equal to 0, and then we'll solve for V. So if I subtract the 250, I will have a 0 here equals a negative 250 plus 1.1 V plus 0.05 V squared. Now I'm going to rearrange this because I'm used to the squared term being out front, and you can totally do that, and just so long as you keep these signs intact. This is positive, this is positive, this is negative. So 0.05 V squared plus 1.1 V minus 250. Alright, so we're going to do quadratic formula. So since I'm not dealing with X, I'm dealing with V. I'm going to say V equals negative V plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4AC all divided by 2 times A. Alright, I'm going to write this down, but I'm going to use the calculator to solve it. So I'm going to do a negative B. B is 1.1, so negative 1.1 plus or minus the square root of B squared. So I'm going to say 1.1 squared minus 4 times A, which is 0.05, times C, which is a negative 250. And all of this is being divided by 2 times A, which is 0.05. All right, so I'm going to let the calculator handle all of the heavy lifting from here. Okay, so in parentheses, I'm going to do my numerator. So I'm going to open parentheses, and I'm going to do a negative 1.1. And I can't do plus or minus, so I just do one at a time. So I'm going to do plus first. So I'm going to do plus and then square root. Now, since this is an older calculator, it's not going to show the extended square root, but it will open parentheses, and then I will close parentheses at the end when I'm done with my square root. So I'm going to do 1.1 squared, and then minus 4 times 0.05, and then times a negative 250. Now you can put all of these in parentheses, but order of operations will take over, and when you're multiplying, it's going to do all of those together. So I'm going to close parentheses once to indicate that I'm finished with the square root, and then I'm going to close it a second time to indicate I'm done with the numerator. So the first parenthesis I open is that very last one, and this one corresponds to that one. So that's the numerator. That's this whole top part. Now I have to do divided by, and then I'm going to put this in parentheses. So put the whole bottom in parentheses. So it's going to be 2 times 0.05, and then close parentheses. So this is it. Double check, make sure you typed everything in correctly, and enter. And so we get 60.56 for the plus. And then if we go, I'm going to do second. If I hit the second button, upward arrow, and then I hit enter, it re-brings the whole equation up, so I don't have to type it again. And I'm going to move my cursor up and change, so the plus or minus part, I'm going to change the plus to minus, and then enter and get the other value. So negative 82. So we can't drive a negative speed limit. Can't go negative 82 miles per hour. So this is an erroneous solution. We can't use that. Okay, so 60.56. Now, the directions say round down to the nearest mile. Now, normally we round up. So why are we rounding down? Well, if you're driving a car and you're going 60.56, you will stop just in time. If we round up to 61, we will be going too fast. We will need more than 250 feet. And if so, we round up to 61, we will crash. So if we go below this, if I round down to 60, that's why we round down, we will have enough time to stop just before we crash. So 60 miles per hour is what we need here.